Well, it's a very warm welcome and thank you for joining me on this independent off-tube studio commentary. The second round of group games in the World Cup continue, and we are in Group C as Poland take on Saudi Arabia from the Education City Stadium. The game has just got underway. Our referee, Wilton Pereira Sampaio from Brazil, gets the game underway, and this is a massive game for both these sides. Poland with a disappointing 0-0 draw against Mexico in their first game, including a missed penalty from their captain and main man, Robert Lewandowski. As for Saudi Arabia, of course, they had a very difficult start against Argentina in the first half, but goodness me, what a recovery in the second half to win the game by 2-1. And now, unexpectedly, you could say, looking at this group, Saudi Arabia find themselves in a great position. If they can take the game to Poland this afternoon and get the win, they put themselves in a fantastic position and will qualify out of the group. From Poland's point of view, they've got to show a little bit more. They were disappointing against Mexico. Most long balls played by any side in the first round of group games as well, and that's not really the way Poland normally play. They seem to sort of try to adjust to the situation, fearing that there might be a little bit too much possession and attacking threat from Mexico, which in the end there really wasn't. But game is underway now, and already Poland trying to press to win the ball back here in midfield. Their free kick has been given. Referee deciding that Al Shehri was just pushed off the ball there by Krystian Bielik. A couple of Poland players already trying to get a message across to the referee, but he's not standing for any. But the officials have been, I wouldn't say harsh in this World Cup. They have been fairly sort of rigid in terms of how they've been trying to get control of the game early. We've seen this particularly with set plays. Any corner kick, any free kick, referees taking a very long time to making sure the players aren't pushing and shoving, and then they end up doing the same anyway. But this is a good ball played down the left-hand side. It's threaded all the way through to Al Shehri. Al Shehri tries to get the shot away. It's just taken off his feet there and quickly played out from the back by Szczesny. Cleared up the field here now by Matty up towards the halfway line. Headed on by Lewandowski looking for Arkadiusz Milik. And that ball is headed back into midfield, and it's a possession now for Abdul Hamid down the right-hand side. Bit of space down the right-hand side as well. Just see this attack out and I'll remind you of the two starting 11s. Zielinski there just trying to marshal the ball away from Al-Brikan. And he does so, playing it back now to Kiwior, who lays it off to Szczesny. So it is Wojciech Szczesny in goal for Poland with a back three of Bartosz Bereszyński, Kamil Glik and Jakub Kiwior. The four across the middle are Matty, Krystian Bielik, Grzegorz Krychowiak and Przemyslaw Frankowski, with Piotr Zielinski playing behind a front two of Arkadiusz Milik and Robert Lewandowski. As for Saudi Arabia, it is Mohamed Al-Awais in goal with a back four of Saud Abdul Hamid, Abdullah Al-Amri, Abdullah Al-Bulahi and Mohamed Al-Buriak as the four in defence. Abdul Al-Malki is the holder midfielder with Sami Al-Naji and Mohamed Kano as the two midfielders ahead of him. The two men out wide, Feras Al-Brikan and Saleh Al Shehri, with Saleh Al Shehri as the man up front. And we can see Hervé Renard, who's become a bit of a social media legend over the past few days with clips of his half-time team talk going viral. Really trying to motivate his players, but you've got to say it works when you consider how well Saudi Arabia played in that second half, coming back from a goal down to beat Argentina in what surely is going to be their most famous win on a football pitch. And interesting here that we can see Salem just trying to calm down his team. I think the referee has spotted something. I'm not quite sure what the issue is, but play has been stopped, and the camera pictures that we're getting, the TV pictures that we're getting here in our studio, just sort of panned away towards the fans. I'm not entirely sure why we had a very brief stoppage in play, but Saudi Arabia have taken the throw. Ball ends up at the edge of the area. It's just taken away from Al-Maki, and going to be a free kick there against I think that's clearly going to be a free kick there. It was Bielik brought down, Birmingham City midfielder. Just had his heels clipped there as he was trying to turn. Looks like it was Al-Malki who just got in the way there. And the referee on hand to quickly give the free kick. 4 minutes gone. We can now see the Poland manager Czesław Michniewicz, who's spent a long time this week blocking people on Twitter. Quite a few Polish journalists and social media commentators have been reporting that they've been blocked after having some negative comments about the Polish national team. He has been very defensive of his time as manager. There was some controversy in terms of his last club job. He had a terrible time with Legia Warsaw, taking them on their worst run in over 90 years. And then was sort of hurriedly given the national team job after Paulo Sousa left the Polish national team to take a club job in Brazil. And since then, the style of play has been criticised. But at this stage, I think from Poland's point of view, they are still in a position where they know they can get out of the group, but they've got to try and do a little bit more than they did in the first game. Got a bit of a break in play here now again. It looks as though Mohamed Al-Buriak just had something in his eye there. He's taking the throw down the left-hand side, heading towards the edge of the Poland penalty area. They're looking for a free kick there, Saudi Arabia. Saleh Al Shehri was pushed off the ball, but, well, he says he was pushed off the ball. Looks like our referee, Mr. Sampaio, is not interested. I mean, there is a little bit of contact, but I'm not sure that in this day and age, with referees allowing just that little bit more physicality. Certainly over the last couple of seasons, we've seen that across international and club football. But goal kick taken short here by Poland. Just to remind you as well, in the earlier game today, Australia beat Tunisia by a 0-0. And the later games this afternoon and this evening at 4 o'clock, France against Denmark. And then at 7 o'clock, the other game from this group, from Group C, as Argentina take on Mexico. Long ball now down the left-hand side, taken down by Bielik. Leaves it here for Frankowski. One of the changes this afternoon. Zielinski's gone on the run and he puts a ball across the 6-yard box. Just a little bit too far away from Lewandowski. Cash now with a cross from the right-hand side, but he gets a little bit too much on that. And then there's a bit of a collision there. Bielik just bumping into Mohamed Alouais, but looks like the goalkeeper should be okay. Bielik there. In fairness, he's actually just trying to get something on the ball there, the Polish forward, but Alouais always favourite to make the claim. Ball now back with the Saudi Arabia goalkeeper, just rolls it down the left-hand side here. Long clearance from Al-Bulahi, charged down by Krychowiak. He can of course play as a defensive midfielder, Krychowiak, but he was very defensive in that game against Mexico, sitting very deep. As one Polish journalist who subsequently was blocked by the manager did actually say that Poland played with a 7-1-1 formation in the first game, which is I think a little bit harsh. But yeah, compare that to the joy of what happened with Saudi Arabia's first game, with a story being released yesterday that apparently every member of the Saudi Arabia team is going to get a Rolls Royce after that win against Argentina. If that's true, then fantastic news for them. But here come the Saudis now pushing forward with Al Shehri. Does well to just shepherd the ball away from a couple of Polish midfielders, gets it away from Zielinski, and then finds Al-Buriak down the left-hand side. He's heading towards the edge of the area. He tries a shot as well, and he gets a bit of a deflection. That's going to be the first corner kick of the afternoon. And good move there as well. Saudi Arabia just looking a little bit more comfortable on the ball in these early stages. And there's certainly a lot of space here to get the shots away, although once that deflection hit the back of Krychowiak, there was never going to be any danger of that one being on target. There was also no chance for Szczesny to stop the corner kick, as the ball was always too high. So Saudi Arabia slowly sending their players into the box now. 3 players inside the 6-yard box, another 3-4 waiting outside, just at the edge of the penalty area. Here comes the referee again. I must say I'm getting quite frustrated with this. Every single set piece telling the players not to push and shove. It's like telling a footballer not to kick a football. You're going to have to make some sort of contact for a set piece, but it's going to be a corner kick swung out here by Sami Al-Naji towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Oh, it's just a little bit too high for Al Shehri. Should still be kept in play by Mohamed Kano on the left-hand side. Floated back into the box here by Al Shehri, headed away and back into midfield. Al-Naji, the corner kick taker, still keeps the ball in play, and Saudi Arabia recycle possession here, going back towards the halfway line. Al-Buriak down the left-hand side. Al Shehri towards the edge of the area. Glick slides in. Doesn't really get the ball, but Matt Cash, they're able to win that back for Poland. Is that going to go out for a goal kick? He did his best there, Al Shehri, to stop that from going out for a goal kick. I think, well, it looks like it has been given as a throw. Much to the frustration of Matt Cash. I think he was just hoping for a little breather there and for that to be given as a goal kick. But good hustle there from Al Shehri, making sure that Poland still have a bit of work to do to clear the ball from the edge of their own penalty area. Throw on down the right-hand side. Cash, who's become quite popular in Poland now since taking Polish nationality and joining the national team. He was actually involved in the drawing of the Polish Cup, the 3rd or 4th round of the Polish Cup on Polish television just before the World Cup, and there was quite a funny little clip of him actually trying to learn some of the more difficult Polish team names just before the draw went live. Yeah, he's certainly taken to this national team, and he's become very much a regular now on that right-hand side. But Poland now pushing down the left here with Bereszyński feeding the ball down towards Krychowiak. Krychowiak just gets the ball away there from Al-Amri, and then it's Bereszyński's ball in, and that is a crucial intervention inside the penalty area there. Looks like it was Al-Bulahi who just got a touch on the ball, and that was essential really from that cross from Bereszyński, because had it not been for that, Zielinski was completely unmarked, 6, 7 yards out, and he had nobody around him at all. If that ball had reached him, he probably could have taken 2 touches before getting a shot away from close range. That's certainly a warning there to Saudi Arabia. They've just got to be a little bit more careful in terms of how they marshal the Polish players in and around the penalty area. There is Hervé Renard, the French manager of the Saudi Arabian team. As I say, he'll be a legend of all Saudi Arabian sport if he does get this team out of the group stage. And here comes Al-Brikan now down the right-hand side, getting towards the edge of the area. That's a good ball as well to find Al-Naji. Al-Naji into the 6-yard box. Good challenge there from Kivior. It was essential because Al Shehri was already waiting inside the 6-yard box, cleared up towards the halfway line. That is a strong challenge. And although the Saudi Arabia players are trying to claim that there was no foul, the referee doesn't look like he was too impressed with that. And although there is a Saudi player down as well, Mohamed Kano. Looks as though... Well, I mean, Kano was trying to come across here to challenge Krychowiak. As Krychowiak's kicking the ball, he's actually kicked the man. Now, Saudi Arabia are very unhappy about this, but I'm not so sure that... I mean, Krychowiak happened in such a split second. I'm not so sure that Krychowiak could have done anything differently there. Grzegorz Krychowiak does actually play his club football in Saudi Arabia now. That's something that's happened in the last 6 months after the Polish FA announced that they wouldn't be considering any player for selection who plays in the Russian league. And Krychowiak wanted to say, but that ball's threaded through towards Lewandowski. I'll just interrupt myself there. There was a free kick given in the build-up, though, just as Poland were trying to get into some attacking possession. As I was saying, that Krychowiak does play in the Saudi Arabian League now for Al Shabab. And there are a few Al Shabab players in this Saudi Arabian squad as well. But a strong challenge there from Matt Cash. He's just getting a little bit more physical now in the middle of the park. I think Poland probably hoping to see a little bit more of the ball in these early stages. They'll be a bit frustrated by the lack of attacking possession. But that was that half chance, wasn't there, just a moment ago, where the ball was played through towards Zielinski. Saudi Arabia now in possession, just holding on to the ball on the halfway line. Great run here, though, down the right-hand side. It's with Al-Brikan, teed off, and it's a strike coming towards the top corner. That's a great save from Szczesny, and it needed to be. Saudi Arabia looking better and better in front of goal here, and it was a strike from Mohamed Kano. Gets the ball at the edge of the area. He threaded this ball through initially towards the right-hand side. Abdul Hamid played it back to him, and it really does put his laces through that. Really is a very good strike that's heading... Might have just been heading over the bar, actually, or onto the bar, but in a split second that Szczesny had, he certainly had no time to make that sort of distinction. It was close enough that he had to make the save. It's going to be an out-swinging corner from Sami Al-Naji towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Lewandowski. Back towards the edge of the area. And volleyed back towards goal, but there's just a little bit too much on that one. So it's an easy save for Szczesny, who boots it out long, trying to pick out the run of Lewandowski, who'd gone long as well, but that's cut out by Saud Abdul Hamid. And Saudi Arabia now back in possession. They look very comfortable on the ball here as it's played over towards the left-hand side. Salem Al-Deswari now switching the ball over towards the right-hand side. Abdul Hamid goes on the overlap, and Kivior doing his best there just to marshal that out. Bereshinski was there as well. I think it was Bereshinski in the end that made sure that went out for a goal kick. Getting another replay of this effort from Kano. It really was a good strike. A lot of power behind that one. And a lot of Saudi Arabia fans behind the goal as well. They were very impressed with that. Of course, this is different for Saudi Arabia this time at the World Cup, in so much that they have a lot more supporters in the stadium. Previously, at previous World Cups, they never really had a huge sort of following, if you like. They would have a certain number of fans, but it wouldn't be a sort of whole stand behind the goal like they have now. They really have a huge amount of fans in, as you would expect, of course, their neighbouring country to Qatar. Great opportunity for them to put this part of the world on the footballing map, as we can see a furious Hervé Renard there. I'm not entirely sure what he was getting so angry about on this particular occasion, but he certainly wanted to get a message across to one of his players there. Saudi Arabia starting with a short goal kick then, as we've got coming up to 15 minutes on the clock. Independent, unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Poland 0, Saudi Arabia 0. From Group C in the Qatar World Cup. Strong challenge there. Poland have just got to start watching this one now. Been a couple of strong challenges, and I'm not surprised actually that our referee Wilton Pereira Sampaio showing the first yellow card on 15 minutes here. It's a strong challenge there from Jakub Kiwior. Bit of a raised foot there, caught his man, and I don't think he can have too many complaints. Kiwior, 22-year-old, currently playing for Spezia in Serie A. First player in the book this afternoon. And Kiwior is actually the player that's probably eliminated Jan Bednarek's chances in the first 11, although Bednarek, of course, out of first-team football in England now as well. As a regular for Southampton last season and the season before. Him and Kamil Glik pretty much always the starting two centre-backs for Poland. But with Bednarek going out of favour at Southampton and joining Aston Villa and hardly getting any game time there either, means that he's got to make do with a place on the bench as Poland pick up their second yellow card inside a minute. It's a rash challenge from Matt Cash, his Bednarek's Aston Villa teammate there, going in very hard and getting a yellow card, deservedly so, I would say. Saleh Al Shehri was the man brought down. It's a lunge that from Matt Cash. That's a booking in the Premier League all day long as well, I would say. The ball was there to be won, but he doesn't get it. And if you're going to slide in with that much power and not get the ball, then you're always going to get a yellow card, I would say. So Cash with the booking. And Saleh Al Shehri just being checked over there. Wait to see whether or not he is going to be able to play. No, I would think he would be. Doesn't look like too bad a challenge. So the Saudi Arabia fans in good voice here. And they've got plenty of reason to be happy. They've started the better in this game without a doubt. And free kick now to Saudi Arabia. It's right on the left touchline, probably around 10, 12 yards from the edge of the penalty area. Certainly a good angle to try and get a cross into the box here. It is going to be Al Shehri standing over this one. Looks like he's picked himself up. And we'll see whether he's going to be taking this free kick. We've seen Al Naji taking the corner kicks up to now. It's actually a ball floated in by Al Buriak, but that one is always too close to Wojciech Szczesny. Just couldn't quite get the height on it that he wanted. Ideally, it would have been a little bit quicker as well, just to put the goalkeeper under a bit more pressure. Szczesny, as we know, is an excellent shot stopper, but can sometimes be found out in terms of his decision-making, in terms of coming off his line, and sometimes his positioning on crosses as well can be a little bit suspect. But under the previous manager, Paulo Sousa, Szczesny became very much the first-choice goalkeeper, so much so that Łukasz Fabiański, West Ham's goalkeeper, actually went into international retirement. And I think that he probably still had a good couple of years of international football left in him. But I think he just realised that he was only going to be travelling to always be on the bench. And with the new manager taking over, there didn't seem to be any talk of that changing. So Fabiański is on a month off at the moment as Poland take a free kick quickly. Frankowski chasing this one down the left-hand side, but that one is well cut out by Al Amri. Cleared away and out for a throw down Poland's left-hand side. Bereszyński is up to take this, throws it into Zielinski. Zielinski, the Napoli man. Oh, he runs into a challenge there. As he was he fouled there? The referee says yes. I have to say, the referee's allowed a couple of, shall we say, borderline challenges here. He's given a couple of yellow cards out, I would say rightly so for strong challenge. Oh, on this occasion it's not a foul, actually, so the ball had gone out of play. So it's a throw to Poland down the left-hand side. Bereszyński and Zielinski exchanging a pass. Zielinski under pressure there from Albrikan. He's it off to Bereszyński, another deflected ball. It's going to be another throw to Poland. It's important for them to try and keep a little bit of attacking possession here. They've not really done much to test the Saudi defence so far. And they lose possession here in midfield, and challenge there from Arkadiusz Milik. And that's going to be the third yellow card that Poland have picked up in the last 3 minutes. 4 minutes if we're going to be precise. But even so, it's a silly challenge from Arkadiusz Milik to pull on the shorts of an opposition player when the opposition player is deep inside his own half. I mean, what's Milik's not stopping a goal-scoring opportunity. It's not even a tactical foul. It's just a bit petulant there from Arkadiusz Milik. Not what the Juventus man needed to be doing there, but that's the third yellow card that Poland have picked up early on in this game. And long ball played down the left-hand side, cleared away. Zielinski, though, robbed of the ball in midfield, and it looks as though referee has stopped play there. There's a head injury here, and I'm just trying to see which player it is that's down. It's is this Albrikan? No, it's not. In fact, it's Al Buriak over on the left-hand side. just bumping into Matt Cash, or Cash bumping into him. Ooh, I tell you what, Cash has got an elbow out there as well. And I mean, is that a foul there from Cash, or is he? Well, certainly Hervé Renard is unimpressed with that. He feels as though there might have been a challenge there that could have warranted a second yellow. But in the meantime, Al Malki's been booked as well. I'm not quite sure what this is for. So certainly that's the first booking of first booking for Saudi Arabia in this game, as Mohamed Al Buriak still being checked over, lying down on the ground. It was a strong collision there with Matt Cash, and he's slowly picking himself up now. Looks like he's going to be okay. See this one again. I mean, it's not looking. It doesn't look good from Matt Cash, I must admit. There is such a thing as obviously using your elbows to get elevation, to get position once you're up in the air. But what Cash is doing there is, well, I say it's borderline. And the reaction of some of the staff on the Polish bench as well. We just got in the sort of in the background. We could just see the Polish bench as that challenge was made by Cash, and a couple of the coaches and physio sort of looked away, grimacing as well, because I think they knew that their right back was pushing his luck there. It's going to be a drop ball here to Saudi Arabia. They were in possession when the referee stopped play. This is going to result in a bit of added time at the end of this first half. Saudi Arabia now back in possession, and Mohamed Al Buriak back on the field as well, so everything is okay with him. That's good to see. And the ball played back towards Abdullah Al Amri. Abdul Hamid now down the right-hand side. Trying a long cross-field ball here to pick out his teammate. Oh, it wasn't a bad idea at all. He was asking a lot of Al Dosari, though, really. As Saleh Al Shehri tried to sort of stop that in mid-air, but it was always just getting away from him. Throw on to Poland now, down the right-hand side. Matt Cash waiting with it. Long throw from him, down the right-hand side, headed away. And Zielinski there just shepherding the ball out, making sure it does go out for a throw. Cash stepping forward, takes the long throw here, one for Lewandowski to chase. That's hit the back of Al Amri, but Lewandowski does pick it up. He's got two Saudi players around him, and it's Lewandowski who plays it out, although he doesn't agree with that, the Polish captain, but it's the linesman that indicates that it's going to be a throw to Saudi Arabia. Really has been precious little for Poland in terms of attacking possession in these first 22 minutes. That said, Saudi Arabia haven't had too many chances, but they've looked more promising going forward. They've had a bit more of a and this is a great run here from Al Dosari. The referee could have given a free kick, but he's played the advantage. Al Dosari breaks into the penalty area now, tries to play a ball across the 6-yard box. It's deflected away by Kivior. Loose ball now at the edge of the area with Al Shehri, playing it back to Al Malki. Al Naji now over towards Abdul Hamid. His ball into the box, headed away by Kamil Glik. Back into midfield. Saudi Arabia trying again here now. Ball flicked over the top. Should be kept in play here. Abdul Hamid's ball into the box is dealt with, but only partially. Poland still have some work to do to clear this at the edge of their own box. And this time a pass into the area is blocked by Bereszyński. And his attempted clearance is charged down, but Bereszyński doing his best there just to shepherd the ball out, which he does. It's good play there from the Polish defender, currently playing his club football in Sampdoria. There has been a real influx of Polish footballers into the Italian league. Something that's certainly, if you go back to, say, the 90s, would have been unthinkable, really. Polish football at a difficult time in the 90s. Didn't qualify for a single tournament throughout the 1990s. Since the 2000s, they've qualified for about 2/3 of the tournaments, if you include all the World Cups and the Euros. There's only been one Euro competition, and that was in 2016 in France when they actually got out of the group stage. It's been a constant problem really for Poland in the last 20 years, that they're good enough to qualify but not really good enough to do much in the tournament. As a long ball played over the top, Frankowski was chasing it. That's after Al Balahi had missed the ball at the edge of the area, but that's really good covering from Al Buriak. He was the one who had the head injury after that collision with Matt Cash, but he was on hand there very quickly, mopping up for his teammate who'd missed the ball at the edge of the area. Throw to Poland now down the left-hand side. It's with Zielinski. Looking for Lewandowski. His ball deflects into the path of the goalkeeper. Running out there was Alois, and an easy save for him in the end. It's the organisation here from Saudi Arabia I have been impressed with, having watched them since the 90s as a team that almost always qualifies for the World Cup. But they're another team, I suppose you could compare them to Poland in that sense, that they struggle to then do anything once they're in the competition. But this has certainly been different this time round, as on this occasion, poor clearance from Alois. Poland win the ball back here in midfield. Krychowiak up towards Frankowski. Zielinski now being held up, but he does well to play that ball down the right-hand side for Matt Cash. Cash just working into a bit of a cul-de-sac there, but that's clever play from the Villa man. He pretty had no real body shape there to try and get across, and he was losing his balance, but he just fired the ball at his opposite number there, and it deflects out for a corner. So this is the first set piece that Poland have had in this game. 25 minutes gone. It is goalless, but Poland have a couple of big players here that can certainly threaten. Jakub Kiwior is up from the back, as is Kamil Glik. It's Zielinski's ball out swinging, heading towards goal, and that was heading towards goal. If it wasn't for the header from Saleh Al Shehri, it was Krystian Bielik, Birmingham City midfielder, former Derby County man. Saying that, looking at the replay, it may well be that Alois would have got on the end of it anyway. He was already looking to make a save. Initially, I thought it was going a little bit more into the corner. Having seen the replay, that ball was pretty much heading for the goalkeeper, but still a good header anyway. Zielinski with the outswinging corner, and not a good header this time from Al-Bulahi, headed away towards the edge of the area. There may still be a chance for a second ball for Poland, but no, that's good play from Saud Abdul Hamid, and he plays it up towards the halfway line. Quick turn by Al-Deswari, feeds it through the middle, but that's good work there from Kamil Glik. Still coming back from the Polish corner kick, and he clears it out for a throw. Problems here for Sami Al-Naji, really hobbling on that left foot. Looks like he landed awkwardly. Oh, was he stamped on there by Bielik, or was it just a case that he landed awkwardly? Certainly looks painful there for Saudi's number 16. Just needing a moment to pick himself up here. The 25-year-old playing as he does, as a lot of Saudi players do for Al Nassr. As one of Hervé Renard's assistants has just been booked there, and I'm not quite sure exactly what was said, but I think they may have just been protesting. I think they felt as though there was a stamp down there from Bielik. It's interesting, really, that listening to a couple of pundits before the game, and listening to a couple of pundits previewing this even before the World Cup started, before we saw that amazing win for Saudi Arabia against Argentina. A lot of people were suggesting that this game perhaps could be one where Saudi Arabia would try to match Poland for physicality, but actually Saudi Arabia are trying to play football here and actually trying to get forward, and Poland have struggled to stamp their own authority down on the game. And in the meantime, they've picked up 3 bookings themselves, so it's not been the start that Czesław Michniewicz would have liked from his side. Albeit not too much work for Wojciech Szczesny, but certainly in the first 15 minutes, a lot more traffic in front of his goal than it was in front of Mohamed Alois's. Saudi Arabia with the throw inside the Polish half, but that's picked off by Piotr Zielinski. Played up towards Lewandowski, who, as you would expect, surrounded by Saudi players here, and eventually the referee deciding that's a combination of so many players surrounding the Polish number 9, deciding that will be a free kick. Lewandowski, in an interview that actually he gave in English before the start of the World Cup, saying that he understands that part of his role, particularly when he plays for the national team, is to deflect attention from his teammates. The fact that he's always going to get more attention from defenders, he's always going to get marked and closed down, and if he can use that to try and play other teammates in, then that's going to be something very useful. But for that to even be possible, Lewandowski has to be on the ball in the first place, and that's something that he certainly didn't get in the first game. Poland now just seeing a bit more of the ball in the last 5-7 minutes or so, but still struggling to create something from open play. They had a couple of corner kicks in a row where they put Saudi Arabia under pressure, but they've not really been able to do anything from open play so far in this game. And Saudi Arabia just in slow possession now in midfield. Headed through now towards Sam Al-Naji. Back on his feet, Al-Naji now trying to find Al-Deswari at the edge of the area. Cleared up into midfield. Milik then plays it square towards Frankowski. Lewandowski now in a slightly deeper role down the right-hand side, exchanging passes here with Matt Cash. Played back towards Kamil Glik inside the Polish half. Now it's with Jakub Kiwior. Long ball over the top to find Lewandowski. Oh, it just hits the side of Lewandowski. Good work here, though, from Milik to recover the loose ball. He threads it to Frankowski. Frankowski's pass to Cash is not a good one. Hits the heel of Al Buriak, and now Saudi Arabia can go on a counter-attack themselves. Al Shehri on the halfway line, playing it back to Mohamed Kano. Kano heading towards the edge of the area. Leaves it now for Al Dosari. And there's a handball there at the edge of the area, surely. I mean, the Polish players are asking for a booking there for Mohamed Kano. Not sure if the card has been given. But, well, I think, he has deliberately handballed it. I mean, there's no doubt about that. It's that human... He forgot for a second that he was a footballer. It's just that human reaction of seeing a ball going past you. I've got to stop it any old way, and used his hand. But yeah, usually in that sort of situation you could expect a booking because he has deliberately stopped the ball from getting away from him using his hand. But Poland had 3 touches of the ball after taking the free kick, and they've lost possession even before they reach the halfway line. It's just not looking particularly good now for Czesław Michniewicz's side. Played back towards Abdullah Al-Bulahi. Square now to Al-Amri, over towards Abdul Hamid on the right-hand side. Played back in towards Mohamed Kano. Square to Al-Malki, the only Saudi Arabia player booked so far in this game. Back on the halfway line, but composure here from Hervé Renard's side. They've looked comfortable on the ball so far. And what will be more frustrating, I think, from a Polish perspective, is that they haven't really been tested too much in terms of Polish attacking possession. They're off down the right-hand side now. They won themselves a throw after Berezinski was able to deflect the ball away from Abdul Hamid, but he couldn't keep it in play. Throw on to Saudi Arabia now. Down the right-hand side. Abdul Hamid with the ball, but it's all the way back towards his own half. Picked up now by Abdullah Al-Bulahi. Buriak on the left-hand side, being closed down by Frankowski. Once again, Saudi Arabia not taking any risk. If they see too many Polish players pressing, they go all the way back towards Alois in his own goal. And they start again from the back. They've only played a couple of long balls in the whole half here, Saudi Arabia, and they've had more possession as well as they, just to say that though, they do try a long ball down the right-hand side. It is a good one as well from Al-Malki to find Abdul Hamid, then it's crossed in towards the penalty area. Oh, it just gets away from Al Shehri. Couldn't quite get his head to it. But it is going to be a throw to Poland now down their right-hand side. Really nicely taken down here by Saud Abdul Hamid. And then the ball across, played across here from the right-hand side. Just a little bit too much on that one from Al Naji, as Al Shehri was diving across to it. It's going to be a throw to Poland now down the right-hand side. Matt Cash with it. Throws it towards the halfway line, headed on by Frankowski. Back with Lewandowski now, once again. Full of... surrounded by Saudi players there. Krychowiak goes down. I think the referee might be playing an advantage, or he maybe just didn't feel as though Krychowiak was being fouled. But in any case, Poland didn't have any easy route towards goal. They've been forced back into their own half again. Glik now finding Bielik. And Bielik brought down there. That's a clumsy challenge. That may well be our 5th booking of this first half. And just looking at the way Al Shehri slid in here. First of all, he tripped Bielik, and then he tried to slide in from the side as well. So to me, that should be a nailed on yellow, really. Not sure if he has been booked, though. If he hasn't, I think he's quite lucky, because the referee has produced a yellow card for a couple of soft challenges already. Albeit the one for Milik was tactical foul, really, with him deliberately deliberately holding up his man. But just looking at confirmation there, don't think there was any. So yeah, he's got away with one there, Saleh Al Shehri. Now Szczesny with a long ball down the middle. He finds Milik, who does well to hold this ball up, exchanging a pass. That's a really strong challenge. Why is the referee not giving a free kick for that? So it's very strange here from Mr. Sampao, but Krychowiak has the ball here for Poland. So we just want consistency with refereeing there. But Bielik now under pressure, getting the ball away from 2 Saudi players. Krychowiak back in towards Glik. Cash now down the right-hand side, exchanging passes with Frankowski. His ball is stopped here by Albrikan, and it's a throw to Poland now down the right-hand side. And camera quite rightly focusing on the referee there Walter Pereira Sampaio, because that should have been a booking as Lewandowski breaks into the box, and that has been given as a free kick against Lewandowski. No, the referee says play on. No, he has actually stopped play there. He decided that there was a foul from Robert Lewandowski. He can't believe it, but it looks like there was just a bit too much there. Lewandowski heads the ball away from Al Bulahi, and then he just gets tangled with Al Bulahi and does trip him. I think it's the right decision. 35 minutes gone. Independent's unofficial off-tube studio commentary from the Qatar World Cup. Group C from the Education City Stadium in Al Rayyan, where Poland are currently drawing with Saudi Arabia 0-0. And we're going to go back to a lot of injury time, I think, at the end of this first half. This is the third or fourth time that the Saudi medical team have been forced to come on the field. You can see the Saudi Arabia fans there looking... still looking pretty boisterous. They'll still be very happy about how this game has started for them. I think the frustration from Poland's point of view that they just haven't been able to get on the ball as much is still something that will be really worrying Czesław Michniewicz here. He knows that his side have got enough to try and actually put pressure on the Saudi Arabia team, but you can see that Hervé Renard, desperate to try and get some messages to his players. He doesn't speak Arabic, of course, and most of the Saudi Arabia players don't speak English, so it is quite an interesting situation where Hervé Renard is very sort of uses a lot of hand gestures, is very sort of visual with what he says to his players, and then he does actually have one of the coaching staff also working as a translator for him. Now this looks pretty serious here now for Abdullah Al Bulahi. It looks to me as though he may well have had a problem with his shoulder. It looks like it may have been a dislocated shoulder here. That's causing him a problem. Lewandowski gets tangled with him. Oh yeah, and it's the way he lands awkwardly on his left shoulder. Looks like a painful one for him there. Oh, he gets trodden on by Lewandowski as well. I've only just seen that after a third replay. So yeah, it's taking a while here, but we can see why. Lewandowski just, well, in the end, he was lying on the stretcher, Ali Al Bulahi, but then the stretcher goes away and he's able to get up off his own steam here. He's got a couple of bandages on that right arm now. But I would imagine that he should still be okay to play on. And it is going to be Mohamed Alouais to restart play here. Just looking to see if he's going to be playing it. No, all the Saudi players have gone further forward now. So it's going to be a long clearance here from the goalkeeper. 37 minutes on the clock, but I'm guessing we're going to be having about 4 or 5 minutes of injury time at the end of this first half, if not more. Headed on there, that long ball's headed on there by Faras Al-Brikan, but there's nobody in a green Saudi shirt stood further ahead of him, so Poland now back in possession. And Abdullah Al Bulahi back on the field now as well for Saudi Arabia. Looks like, although he does have some pain in that right arm, he is going to be okay to play on. Kamil Glik now for Poland. Square to Jakub Kiwior. Kiwior under a bit of pressure there, forced to go back to Szczesny. And Szczesny's long clearance, straight down the middle here, headed forward by Al-Amri. Loose ball just well, it alludes to Polish players. I don't know how it got through to Sami Al-Naji there, really. Shouldn't have been able to. But Saudi Arabia keep possession here on the right-hand side. Mohamed Kano spots the run of Abdul Hamid. Just a little bit too much on that. Whether the pass was a little bit too strong or Abdul Hamid are just a little bit too slow in going after it, I think it's probably the first option. I think the pass to him wasn't the best because Abdul Hamid has looked very good for Saudi Arabia down that right-hand side. Long clearance now from Szczesny, volleyed forward here by Matt Cash. Poland trying to get a bit more direct here, and Frankowski does well to hold it up at the edge of the area, threads it through to Cash. Cash plays it into the 6-yard box, and Lewandowski stopped inside the 6-yard box, plays it back to Zielinski, who gets it into the back of the net. And on 39 minutes, Poland do take the lead. It's been more of an even game in the last 15 minutes after a better start for Saudi Arabia, but now it is Poland who take the lead. They're finally on the score sheet in this World Cup. And it's not been easy for them in this game. Saudi Arabia have looked the better side for long periods. Lewandowski thought he'd probably scored when this ball was played. Finally, a little bit more invention here from Poland, and isn't it ironic that after all the criticisms of Poland being direct and playing route one in the game against Mexico, that's precisely what gets them a goal here. It's a long clearance from Szczesny, which is volleyed forward here by Cash. That's a good ball from Cash. It's good work here from Frankowski. The two Saudi players should really get to that ball first, but a pass through from Frankowski. Lewandowski, he gets stopped by the goalkeeper, but he keeps his head and is able to lay it back to Zielinski, who really puts his right foot through that and hits the roof of the net. No chance of anyone stopping that one. And Poland take the lead with a fabulous bit of build-up play there, really. I like the way that Cash volleyed that ball through to Frankowski, who then played it straight back to Cash. That was good play. And it's Piotr Zielinski, the Napoli forward, that gets the goal. We were being shown a replays of the goal. Saudi Arabia kicked off, but they've lost the ball immediately, and Poland go on the attack here with Lewandowski playing one across goal. Well, perhaps I'm being kind saying that he was playing across goal. I think he was shooting from a tight angle there, Lewandowski. And he'll be disappointed there, because I think he could have looked for a pass as well. But when he got into the penalty area, it's not the best. I still think he's shooting there, Lewandowski. I don't think it was a pass. But in any case, nobody could get on the end of that one. And goal kick now to be taken here by Mohamed Alouais. This would make things interesting in the group. Of course, Poland drawing 0-0 with Mexico in the first game. Mexico and Argentina face off against each other this evening at 7 p.m. UK time. And depending on the result here, of course, Argentina will know that having lost to Saudi Arabia, they have to get something against Mexico. Zielinski with his 10th goal for Poland, although it's his first at a World Cup. He's been the sort of young, promising player now for some time. He's 28 years old now, Zielinski. He's not the young player anymore. He needs to be becoming one of the regular, sort of more influential players in this team. It's his 76th cap today. The player who actually left Poland as a 16-year-old to play football in Italy, which is, as I say, it's something that's just been happening in the last 10 years or so. Previously, there wasn't much by way of Polish players ending up in the Italian league, in the German league, or maybe certainly in the lower reaches of the German league as sort of more journeyman players. But over the past 10 years, Polish football has improved, and the hope is that they can start to be a bit more of an influence at tournaments, not just qualifying for them, but actually being a bit more of a force once they get there. We've now had shots of the Saudi Arabia fans. They look a little bit deflated, and they will be, because they started better in this game. They had a couple of good chances, and the goal they've conceded, although it was a good goal from Poland, it'll be frustrated there. Hervé Renard, his side caught by a bit of a sucker punch there, a long ball, a quick bit of combination play down the right-hand side, and before you knew it, Poland were in front. But here comes Saudi Arabia trying to respond with Saud Abdul Hamid. He gets to the edge of the area, rolls the ball into Al Shehri. Al Shehri goes down. I think he's looking for a penalty that he's never going to get there. He's still holding that right foot like he's in a huge amount of pain, but I don't think he's going to get anything for that one. The referee, though, is saying we're not going to kick off we're not going to resume play here just yet. Let's see, is Al Shehri brought? No, I can't believe you'd give a penalty for that. It's Bielik who's holding on to him. And there's a bit of a clip there from Bielik, but I mean, the way in which Abdul Hamid then sort of twists his own foot is, I mean, I'd be amazed if VAR gave a penalty for this, but then you never know. You never know with VAR. We've had a couple of interesting decisions already in this World Cup. Szczesny just check. Well, now the referee, he is going to have a look at the replay. I must admit, this didn't look like much of a challenge, but at the same time, he's caught the man and not got the ball. So this may well be a great opportunity now for Saudi Arabia to get on the score sheet here. And the referee is running straight to the monitor. We'll wait to see whether or not they feel as though there's enough contact here from Krystian Bielik. I mean, he does kick, but it's the reaction of the striker that I don't like. I mean, he's adding to it. There's no way that sort of contact would cause his leg to sort of twist around in the way that it has done. But there is contact there. So, you know, we've only seen a couple of VAR decisions, not just in this World Cup, but in general, where the referee's looked at the monitor and then not changed his mind. What's the referee going to do? He's given a penalty. Well, I must admit that didn't seem that there was too much in that. And for me, I thought that the reaction of Saleh Al Shehri was probably more to do with why the referee gave the penalty than the actual contact itself. But this is a great chance now for Saudi Arabia to get back into this game. As I say, Bielik has made contact there, but it seems very slight to me. And Saudi Arabia delighted with that decision now. Seconds before we run out of the first 45 minutes, before we hit injury time here. And Saudi Arabia with a fabulous chance now to get an equaliser. And we'll wait to see. It looks like it's going to be Saleh Al Shehri to take the penalty. And Lewandowski now, the captain, still trying to do what he can, maybe to put off Al Shehri. Now Szczesny doing what he can to try and delay everything as well. We can see a couple of Polish players also hoping that perhaps this penalty is going to be missed. But as we'll wait to see, Saleh Al Shehri now with a great chance. 10 minutes of added time to this first half. Well, I thought we were going to get 5 or 6. I never thought for a second we'd have 10 minutes. But yeah, we're going to get almost an extra time half at the end of this first half then. As Saleh Al Shehri now, we're finally ready to see this penalty. Al Shehri against Szczesny. And Al Shehri's having to wait a long time, but it's in fact, no, in the end it's a change. A save by Szczesny. The rebound is over the bar. It's still inside the 6-yard box. It's headed away in the end. And the last second change, it was Al Shehri who was waiting to take the penalty, and then Al Shehri stepped forward to take it. In the end, it was saved. And the rebound is put over the bar. Great chance there for Saudi Arabia, but it has been missed. And it's Saleh Al Shehri who stepped forward. Szczesny there with a great save. I mean, is Szczesny off his line? That's what I think that's what they're looking at now. Although there are 3 Saudi Arabia players ran into the box as Szczesny was making the save. But with this intro, but by the way, whether or not they decide Szczesny was off his line when he saved the penalty, the save he makes from the rebound is a world-class save. It's a fingertip save at full stretch from Szczesny to stop that ball going in, but it's a corner kick to Saudi Arabia now, swinging in by Al Naji. That's a poor corner, flicked away at the near post and volleyed up towards the halfway line now. It's Al Shehri, the one who missed the penalty. He's tracking back to pick the ball up here for Saudi Arabia. Back now towards Al Amri, and he goes back towards the goalkeeper. Wow, we can just take a bit of a breath now. That was really a very exciting moment there for both teams. A fabulous save from Szczesny, double save, saving the penalty and then the rebound as well. Agony for Saudi Arabia, who thought they were going to be level just as this first half hit injury time. But we've still got 8 minutes to play before we hit half time here. So still plenty of time for Saudi Arabia to try and get back into the game. Here is Al Naji now down the right-hand side towards Abdul Hamid. Abdul Hamid now towards Mohamed Kano. Abdullah Al Amri looking up, thought about the long ball, but Poland are trying to play quite high offside line. I'll get my words out, making it as difficult as possible here for Saudi Arabia to try and play those long diagonal balls, because they've had a bit of joy with that already in this first half. Seen on a couple of occasions Al Amri trying to pick out a teammate doing just that. As it's Sami Al Naji now with the ball down the right-hand side, but he's asking a little bit too much of Saud Abdul Hamid there. And the ball in the end is put out for a throw. We're going to see this penalty save again. It's a great save from Szczesny from the original penalty, but the rebound, the way he gets... I'm a little bit annoyed, actually, that the TV pictures we've just had only showed the replay of the penalty save. It's the rebound save that, to me, is the more impressive one here, because Al Shehri is shooting high, and Szczesny just about gets a hand to it to parry it over the bar. Really is fabulous work there from the former Arsenal man. Of course, long-time Juventus goalkeeper now, Wojciech Szczesny. And a yellow card here now. I can't tell you what the yellow card was for, because we were still getting replays of the penalty save, but it is a yellow card for Abdullah Al Amri, and it's for clattering into Robert Lewandowski there. That is a booking all day long in any federation, in any competition. And although Abdullah Al Amri wants to argue with this one, I'm not sure he's got any ground to stand on there. Lewandowski had no ground to stand on either after he got kicked there by the defender. Back on his feet now, though, the Barcelona man. And a free kick. Ironically, actually, the free kick was given Saudi Arabia's way for the challenge just a second before, but it was the way that Lewandowski was clattered into that the referee was unimpressed with. What rating would I give our referee so far, as we have still got 5 minutes of injury time to play here? I mean, it's not been a bad performance from the referee. There's been a couple of curious decisions. I'd like to think that in the Premier League that penalty wouldn't be given, just because I didn't think there was enough contact. But then that's a subjective thing. Once you make contact with an opposition player inside the box, then all bets are off. Then really, it's a very brave referee that at that stage will say, well, it's not enough contact to give a penalty. And certainly in a World Cup situation, I would always expect that to be given. Really, on reflection at the time, I thought it might be a bit harsh, but now having thought about it, Bielik does make contact with the man, so there's always that invitation for the referee to give a penalty. But here comes Saudi Arabia again with the ball played into the box, swept away by Krystian Bielik. Out for a throw to Saudi Arabia down the right-hand side. Taken quickly by Abdul Hamid. Laid off here to Al Malki. Al Malki now looking for space to shoot, but that one is cleared. Long clearance there from Matt Cash all the way back into the Saudi Arabia half. He does it at an angle. It goes out for a throw to Saudi Arabia down the right-hand side. Al Malki now playing it back towards Al-Bulahi. Al-Buriak down the left-hand side, as Poland starting to sit a little bit deeper here now. They don't want to start sitting too deep. Saudi Arabia won't be afraid to play a long ball, although this time that long ball is to no one in particular. And the ball is easily out for a goal kick. See again this replay of the goal for Poland. Lewandowski with the assist, but it's a real thundering finish there from Piotr Zielinski. And we can see the Polish bench reacting very happily to that one, as indeed are the Polish fans in the crowd. I have to say that it's been nice to see that, barring a few empty seats here and there, and we did see a few, a lot more than a few empty seats when Qatar were losing 2-0 in the opening game. But generally speaking, the crowds have been excellent. And what's been good is that there has been a really good following of every team at the World Cup. Every game I've seen, there has been a really good amount of fans from the specific countries, and that's always good to see as well. It's not just a small little pocket of fans, but it really has been a really good atmosphere. And of course, it's not been without its problems, but generally speaking, I think so far so good with this World Cup. As we've got another break in play here, the 10 minutes that we've had added to this first, I was probably going to have another 2 or 3 minutes added to that. As this time it was Al Amri who was down momentarily. He's picked himself up now though. Pressing here from Zielinski on Al Malki, but he plays it back towards Al Amri. Al Malki and Al Amri, the two players with a yellow card in this first half for Saudi Arabia. As ball now down the left-hand side, chasing that one all the way to the line. Saudi Arabia wanted a corner kick there, and Bereshinski there wagging his finger at the referee, because the linesman had given a goal kick. I think the referee was sort of wondering whether it should be a corner, but he's stuck with his assistant, and he's agreed that it should be a goal kick. Of course, Poland can't celebrate too soon, because Argentina led 1-0 at half-time against Saudi Arabia. We know what happened in the second half in that game, so this is certainly a long way from being over. And the response from Saudi Arabia since they've missed that penalty has been good as well. They haven't. They may perhaps look a little bit deflated. Certainly their fans do. But you look at the way the players have tried to get after the ball here. They're still very keen to get back into this game as quickly as possible. We're on 53 minutes now in this first half. So a couple of minutes still to play. But overall, I think that Poland will be happy. We'll be very happy with how this first half has gone today, considering it didn't start particularly well. First 15-20 minutes, they were visibly the second best team on the field. Saudi Arabia with more possession, more attacking intent, and even with Poland starting to see a bit more of the ball, they still struggled to test the goalkeeper really. Then they took the lead, and then Saudi Arabia with that great chance to equalise from the penalty spot, but Szczesny making that double save as Frankowski's ball into the box. Oh, it might get through towards Zielinski there. The goalkeeper came out, didn't get a touch on it first time, but then the ball is headed straight back to him, and he bowls it out very quickly here to Saud Abdul Hamid, and he's off down the right-hand side, trying an early ball to find Feras Al-Brikan. Being stopped here by Kivior. Back into midfield here now for Kano. Al Malki now towards the edge of the area. Al Naji to Abdul Hamid. His ball into the box, hooked up in the air. Attempted a header away there by Bereshinski. Doesn't get too much distance on it, but it is finally volleyed clear. Lewandowski once again with a bouncer watching over him. Not really able to do anything with that one. It's played straight away down the right-hand side. And Poland having to track back here again as Al Shehri then rolls it towards Al Brikan. Kano. Back over towards the right-hand side. Chasing this one, Al Brikan under a bit of pressure. Forced to go back towards the edge of the area as Saudi Arabia looking to try and get a bit of a... Oh, well, that's a poor touch, though, from Al-Dasari. And now Poland can go on a counter-attack. The long ball to Lewandowski. Oh, he takes it down really well. Initially, he took it out from a high position, but then he sort of stumbled into the ball. It's such a shame from his point of view. If he'd have been able to control that a bit better, then he would have been able to do something with it. But the referee doesn't add any more time after the 10 minutes that we had allocated at the end of this first half. It is half-time at the Education City Stadium in this Group C game. Poland lead against Saudi Arabia by 1-0 after a goal scored by Piotr Zielinski. And I'll be back for you in 15 minutes for second half off-tube studio commentary.